Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of Graphic and Novel. We are actually shooting from the bunker tonight, which is Billy's place. We're going to be doing some more video stuff for the Illustrated Friends, so this is kind of a special edition. I'm trying to get myself in frame here. It's all kind of different. Am I good? Looking good. You can see the book real nice now. We got the good stands. So tonight we're going to be talking about Happy. We're going to be doing it while drinking the 3rd Street Brewhouse Sanity Break Season IPA right there. I've never had this before. The name seemed appropriate given the book. And this was my first time with Happy too, despite the fact that it came out in 2013. So, here's to Comic and Beers. That'll do. Tastes like beer. I was talking to one of my coworkers at the bookstore earlier this week about how for me really beer is just beer. Like, this is kind of a weird thing to add to the show for me because I don't drink a lot of beer, and when I do it's either like, oh, I like this beer, I'd like to have another one please, or it's like, I don't care for this beer, and that's it for me. Like, I don't know if I like IPAs or ales or lagers, or I'm just kind of surprised I can name off 3 different kinds of beers. I'm talking to Billy and Max because they're here because we're shooting other shit later. But this is already getting to be long, and I don't want this show to turn into like a half an hour. So we're talking about Happy. Happy was a 4-issue full-color miniseries produced by Grant Morrison and Darrick Robertson. Came out in Image in 2013, and then they released a deluxe edition with 10 new pages of the book, and a photo cover of Chris Maloney, Detective Stabler, as Happy, because they made this into the Sci-Fi show. That's Merlin, everybody. That's Billy's dog. He's eventually probably gonna be in some shit. So this was 96 pages when it was originally released. It was in the trade edition that we have here, the original trade. It was $12.99. After reading it, I would happily pay that. And now we gotta talk about the pedigree of this book for a second. Grant Morrison. If you're watching this show, I almost kind of assume you would know who Grant Morrison was. But if you don't, get fucking learned about that shit, man. He wrote fucking The Filth, All-Star Superman, The Invisibles, Animal Man, and the book that introduced me to him and a lot of people was Arkham Asylum, and the original graphic novel with Dave McKean. That book fucked me right up. One of my favorite all-time visual representations of the Jokers. The book is beautiful, it's eerie, it's moody, it's fucking just lovely shit. So, Grant Morrison, he's also fucking crazy. Like, crazy weird dude. He's into chaos magic. He's tried to boost sales by asking all of his fans to have a wankathon while looking at a certain symbol, and like, he's just really interesting guy, and he's got some really interesting ideas about comics, which is very evident immediately after you read his comics. And Darrick Robertson, for me, is comic book royalty. He was the artist on what is probably my all-time favorite long-standing, like, series. Like, I don't know, because like Transmetropolitan, we're going to get into that in a couple episodes here, is what comics should be to me. And Darrick fucking drew the shit out of that book. And he was also, but not beyond Transmet. Like, he drew The Boys, which is now soon going to be a show with fucking Bones on it. Fucking Carl Urban. His run on The Punisher and Wolverine were both fucking legendary. This dude is just top shelf fucking comic book art, Darrick Robertson. So the two of these together, I was ready for some shit, man. I was like, this is gonna be fucking great. The basic premise is about Nick Sachs. If you hear a can cracking in the background, that's because we're cheersing. It's comics and beer and shit. He's drinking green tea, whatever. I see that shit. It's fucking, you guys should almost just be in the video. I can't believe you're off screen right now. It's so weird to be around
these.
I
have to take photos and notes.
Sure.
I feel much more like the guy who manages social media.
We got a social media manager. So, I'm sorry, the book. The book is about an ex-cop named Nick Sachs who is now a hitman. After a hit goes wrong, he starts to see an imaginary blue Pegasus named Happy who keeps trying to enlist his help to save a little girl. And, I'm actually not going to spoil the ending on this one because this is still a show that's going on, and it's a new enough book in the public awareness that, like, you could still go and read it and be surprised. Hey, Merlin. Merlin came to say hi. God, we got to get him on camera. He's so good. So, how did I feel about this book? I read this book in a day. The artwork was, of course, phenomenal. Like I said, Darrick Robertson is unfuckwithable. So, love the way the book looked. The juxtaposition of the really, really cartoony, happy character with Nick and the rest of the world. It's really good. It's a vile book, man. There is extreme violence, fucking very, very crazy shit going on in this book. Not for the faint-hearted. But you flow through it really nice. Like, even with these extreme images, you don't really get too stuck on stuff. They use the word fuck a lot, which is fine. I like that word. It's a good fucking word. Yeah, overall, it's a good book. It just wasn't enough for me, man. Like, this is such a cool premise to me. And maybe they're going to do another one. Maybe they'll pick it back up. You know, the show's going to take it further. That's cool. But, like, if Grant motherfucking Morrison and Darrick Robertson approach Image Comics and they say, we want to do a book about an ex-cop turned hitman who sees an imaginary tiny cartoon blue Pegasus horse. I think he refers to himself as a couple of times, which is inaccurate. I don't know when else you back up the truckload of money. You know what I mean? Like, this is the team to back. And maybe they only wanted to do 4 issues, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's all he had. Maybe he didn't think he had legs or he was having trouble, but he was able to get the 4 issues out. I just desperately wanted more. I wanted to know more about everybody, you know? They had a lot of character development crammed in there, but it was almost kind of secondary to a lot of the action sequences and the arguments between the main characters. And obviously that's important, but overall, man, it's a solid read. For $12, it's great. You can get this version on Amazon right now, I think for like $9 or something like that, or the deluxe version with the extra 10 pages and Detective Fancy Butt on the cover. Sure, do that. I did not. I bought this used. I buy a lot of comics used, man. I take chances on some stuff. This is not me taking a chance, but this was an opportunistic buy. And that's pretty much it. I would give this, I would say, a strong 8 out of 10. Well, 7. No, I'm going to kick it down. 7.5 out of 10. I wanted more. It's an excellent book. There's just not enough of it. So, how it pairs with this particular thing, I would like another one of these. This is a good beer. Good job to 3rd Street Brew House. And here's to Mr. Morrison and Mr. Robertson for putting out amazing fucking work for their entire career. And, not necessarily reinventing the wheel with this book, but they're on the TV now. And, well, that can't be bad, right? All right, bye-bye.
Like